Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to tear open the source material on something called the compiled theory of temporal displacement, or TDT for short.
Right.
And our mission here is to really understand how our choices right now are fundamentally structuring what's to come.
Yeah, and TDT defines time in a pretty interesting way. It's not a straight line.
No, it's more like a multi-layered causal fabric where one small action today, let's call it node A, can generate these huge nonlinear consequences, say, 30 years from now.
And really, the whole thing kicks off from one simple fact. Human behavior is consistently generating this massive systemic socio-ecological gap.
So our comfort today is being paid for by displacing the costs into the future.
Exactly. We're racking up environmental and economic debt.
Oh, wait, let's unpack this. If our present decisions are the core problem, what's the psychological driver here? It sounds like we're almost hardwired to fail the future.
You've pretty much hit the nail on the head. The primary driver TDT identifies is a really pervasive cognitive bias. It's called hyperbolic discounting. It's simple, really. We value immediate rewards far more highly than future costs.
Even if those future costs are, exponentially bigger.
Oh, yeah. That's what skews every single decision away from long-term thinking.
I think the most powerful way to grasp that is through the systemic disconnect your sources talk about. The plastic bottle example.
That's the perfect one.
We get, maybe 20 minutes of utility from it?
And in return, the environmental cost, its persistence is 500 years. That skewed ratio it accelerates everything.
And that accumulation is what the theory calls intergenerational asymmetry.
It is. We're actively creating this unresolvable temporal debt, a debt that later generations are simply forced to pay.
So this is where it gets really interesting for me. The theory proposes a solution, temporal optimization, finding the smallest possible action now for the biggest beneficial change in the future. But how do you trick the human brain out of a bias that fundamental?
Well, the proposed solution it's pretty radical. It's a psychological intervention. They use what they call a Wundt-Hagen model for cognitive displacement.
So not just education.
No, not at all. It's about deploying what they call TDT-corrected stimuli.
Which are basically personalized counter-memories.
That's it. They're designed to collapse the decades-long future cost into an instantaneous, emotionally resonant experience that you feel now.
You're trying to make the cost of that plastic bottle feel real in the instant we decide to buy it.
Precisely. The research shows you have to bring that abstract future cost down to the level of the observable temporal threshold.
And that's, 30 milliseconds?
30 milliseconds. If the brain perceives the consequence within that window, it registers it as a present cost. And the discounting bias it collapses.
But even if we could do that, the sources are pretty clear that there are still hard limits. There are things TDT says we just cannot fix.
Those are the fixed points.
Yeah.
These are high probability future consequences. Think irreversible coral reef loss or certain nonlinear economic collapses.
They're already locked in.
They're already locked in. They're basically invariant to any realistic mitigation we could do today.
So what does that mean for our strategy? If we can't prevent those fixed points, we have to pivot.
The focus has to pivot from prevention to aggressive adaptation and resilience building.
Okay.
But the entire optimization effort, everything we've talked about, is bound by one ultimate constraint.
The ethical constraint. AI epsilon.
AI epsilon. And the rule is crystal clear. The optimization cannot create a present-day suffering that is greater than the future suffering it's trying to mitigate.
And this is where it all comes together, philosophically. The true solution is what they call the Novikov-compliant path.
Which is this delicate balancing act. You have to minimize risk. That's AI gamma, properly allocate resources, AI delta.
All while staying inside that ethical boundary of AI epsilon.
And that balance is the deepest question TDT leaves us with. Because if the Novikov principle is right, and our influence is confined strictly to the future,
then you have this incredible tension.
A huge tension. To do the maximum physical preparation, the AI delta, requires steep costs today.
But that absolute requirement of AI epsilon says you cannot increase present suffering.
So how do you reconcile that? That's the real question.
Yeah.
That tension defines the very limit of our ability to intervene.